I'm terrifying, I know.
Sneaking up
Terrifying, I
in the
know.
middle of deep thought. I got some accessories for this bug project, and I'm having a hard time. If you're following the socials, you saw these. Cool stuff. They go to a boat. I was really looking for those van windows, the funky ones from the 70s, the diamond or the heart or the Playboy bunny. I found a pair in somewhat good shape for $1,000. So definitely, we're not doing that. So I tried the boat ones. They just don't work. You got this here. So I thought, okay, well, some kind of cool, weird shape here, kind of going with the funky fin thing. But these are just not the thing. And then I was like, well, just too big. Like that could have been cool. And I was like, well, maybe angle them. Then I found these. A couple people were spot on with their critiques at like, oh, it looks like the fan in your bathroom. And I think that's what it is. I was like, is that for a pool? I don't know. I was just looking for portholes, right? I thought, okay, maybe a porthole window. And those are actually pretty expensive too. The majority of them are brass or aluminum with flat glass. And all the ones for boats I found seem to open. I couldn't find just a porthole that just doesn't open in ABS plastic. So, okay, maybe a round one. Then I thought, well, maybe an engine vent. So that's still undecided. I'm going to toss this whole side window idea on the side. I'm just going to work on the back. Couple good comments. The nicer folks that actually have some taste. So what about a split window? What about the classic split window design in the rear? You'll see it on panel trucks. You'll see it on the early Volkswagens, on that Dodge, the Dodger Lodger Plymouth thing, or Dodge. Yeah, so split windows. I mean, that's the answer for sure. Where do you get a set of those? They're around, but I decided I'm going to make them out of that.
Ta-da!
This is where you say, what is that?
Well, I already know what it is, but
Oh,
what is that, Ian? I have
that
no idea.
that is the leftover roof from the Chevy project. So does it have a split rear window? Heck no. That's where the adventure begins.
Right, I have no idea how you're going to do that to that. You're only making this car worse, Ian.
You know, it started off on a good path, but now that I've diverged from my strict restoration background, everything's going wrong.
Your true north.
So these are the side window frames
Ooh.
from that, right? They were in the back rear side. Love that tasty little curve. Check it out. Does that not look like a potential split a rear window, but about 10 feet too wide?
It does.
I gotta say it does. Guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna chop that thing up. We're gonna make tiny little split windows out of this, and then we're going to panel bond fiberglass and whatever else it takes to put these steel window frames into the back of that. Let's begin. Being that this VW project is going to have so much fiberglass, it's going to take a substantial amount of material to accomplish that. So the folks at Evercoat stepped up and provided me with, I think, just about all the things to get the job done. Some people were asking about how I was going to attach the fiberglass to the steel. So along with rivets and whatever else mechanical, this stuff is a reinforced repair compound filler. It adheres to everything from rigid plastic to steel, galvanized aluminum, most rigid composites. So they sent a whole box of that stuff. That ought to glue it together. Then for the structural parts of the filling, the old kitty here, the long strand reinforced filler. This stuff is strong as anything I've ever seen as far as fiberglass goes. So, I'm not that proficient at laminating the mat, etc. So this goes a long way to create a finished surface from those irregular contours I'm able to accomplish. Then to finish it all off, of course, the old lightweight filler. That's the stuff you finish off with. It's easy to sand. It's non-clogging. It's good stuff. This is what I buy, seriously, whenever I would go to the body store. But yeah, they sent it. They sent us mixing boards, spreaders, buckets, some more fiberglass mat in addition to the bags and bags we have. And yeah, it looks like 6 gallons. So what is this, 1 gallon? One, yeah, a gallon. So 6 gallons of the resin as well. So if that doesn't build a car, I don't know what will. I wish I could just take all this stuff and throw it on that side of the shop and have a car waiting, but that's not the case. The one thing I could say about this is like my dream to have companies stand behind me to create my artistic visions. That's a life's dream come true. So here we go. Thanks, Evercoat. This is going to make it happen. Jamie's going to put a link where you can find these products for their website, but also they are ITW Evercoat on Instagram and Evercoat on Facebook. Look them up. It's good stuff. First thing I'm going to do is liberate both of these upright pieces. Like such, like such. Roughly same areas. Notice how I changed my mind right in the middle of that cut? Do it all the time. Why did I change my mind? I felt like I could just use that little bit of a turn down. Let's see how tall this is. How much it's going to have to change. Oof, quite a bit. So, from the top of the fan shroud, somewhere in there, that is going to be a pretty small window, unless we bring it into here. There it is, right there. We want this to be, let's take 6 inches out and see where we're at. I bet we're going to take 7 inches out. Let's take 6 out and then look. That's going to be a small window, ain't it? First we'll do 4, then we'll take a look. That doesn't look too small. There it is. Yeah, I can roll with that. I'm going to just open this a little bit because I'm unhappy with this. See this? Looks like it's horseshoeing in a little bit too. Oh, look, I just bent it. We got that.
Oops.
Yeah, there's no spark. Then there's sparks. There's a lot of lead laying in there. So I don't get things out of order. I'm going to do a little here, and then I'm going to do a little here. That way we end up with the same mirror image. Should add up to 6 inches. Indeed it does. Now we're going to see how long we want this in a rough guesstimation. Right, this is the bottom. B. B for underside. I think we're going to make this window 10 inches. That way the opening will be 7 by 10. Yeah, that looks pretty groovy. That was one thing on all the windows I was finding, the aftermarket windows, they're just big, you know, they're for the side of a van. So the Volkswagen back of that is going to be tiny. I have the old hatch right here. So this is the rear hatch that would have been on the full-size kit. And you could see, if you're going to set up sort of a split in half of that, you know what I'm saying? So we're right about on par with a half and half. So dig it, man. Or ma'am. All right, now this is going to be the difficult part here. Take this, we're going to have to pie cut the heck out of this. We're going to have a really hard curve coming into here. So just say roughly, kind of where we're at. I want to do that, give or take. So I'm going to cut it. Starting here, I'm going to take that off. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. We're going to have to do it over there. Being that I want this all flat, I'm going to set it up upside down like this. But this looks pretty close. So I can push it down on the table. Yeah. There it is, right there. Cool. Yeah, sweet. I'm going to take 1.25 inches out of that. Just on that side. Isn't that a pretty little window? Clean that up. So what I'm going to do back here is put a piece of sheet metal behind this. But I'm going to duplicate that other one first. What that sheet metal will do is give it a backer and make all those cuts really strong. But I really love this curve. Came out great. Simple. Cool. Like, here's where it gets tricky. So everybody remember what we did. In reverse. I think I did that. Let's do that to mark it. And I'm going to put that to that. Roughly. Yes. Like so. I'll leave that a little bit vague and compare. I'm just going to take this big leg off for the moment. I left both of these a little big. It's not a perfect world. I'm going to double check. It's a little big. So that mark is right on. So we're going to go right back to that front. Good. All right. I'm just going to mimic what I did. You can see how on the material where I'm deciding to stop my cut, right? Because if you're not cutting all the way up to here, then there's going to be a lot of stress to bend that. So I'm trying to get it just to where it starts to ride over that. And on the inside too, you have this flange here. So you have to remove that as well. So when you bend it, it just bends it on the inside radius. It's an interesting thing that I learned pretty early on. Like to chop a top is one thing, but when it comes down to the trim work and the finish, you know, you think about a car, giant object, right? It almost comes down to the precision of jewelry making if you were to get into little chrome trims and all that stuff. So for all those fellas that really know how to do it, hats off to you. Now see, I want these to match, right? So it's a little bit off right there. I'm gonna come in a little right there, and a little right there. Yeah, looks pretty darn close to me. I like it. Now this is where it pretty much becomes a free-for-all. our surfaces are not even. It's just a layup. Not looking at this exterior metal, just looking at the window. Yeah, I like that. So I'm thinking the closer to center they are, the more it'll allow me to just wrap that right out. So pretty much like that. How do you feel, Miss Editor-in-Chief?
Well, I need you to get up so I can look.
I like it.
So what's going to go around here? That's all going to be fiberglass?
That's what we're going to get into next. Since we've decided we like this, I'm going to cut a hole here. Because see, this is outside of the little finsy.
Uh-huh.
So we need to sink this into the fiberglass.
Oh, okay.
So that's the thing. Get one side fit up and then commit to the other. This looks a little bit close to the fan shroud, so I'm going to cut through here and see, expose that fan shroud. I'll do that with the shear so we don't have dust. That was the whole thing with this rough mock-up of just blobbing fiberglass, just to put something that we can work with. I know I want the body close to the fan shroud, but not touching.
Okay, I can see it better now that you're showing the fan shroud. Because before,
Yeah, so
I
we're
didn't
going to be
really...
up above the carburetors for sure. You know, again, I got a pretty loose brain when it comes to mocking stuff up, so I'm looking through all of it.
Right. Yeah, now that I see the fan shroud, I can see the symmetry of it all.
So this is going to come sort of up like this. That's how Ed Roth did it.
Mm-hmm. I like it.
Mock it up, cut it back, repeat.
Yeah.
So let me cut this out now because that looks a little too bulky.
Yeah, that helps. Because I kind of didn't see it before, but I'm seeing it now.
Well, most people don't. You know, I like to keep it real loose. I'm going to put this in the Beverly shear and shear it. Yeah, I guess it would help in a lot of ways if I clarified exactly what the heck I was talking about, huh?
But you know what? You don't have to. How many cars have you built?
Yeah, so see, that is kind of
I
our
see
limit
it.
right there.
I see it now. I'm
Right?
glad you did that with the window.
I almost want it closer together, but that looks pretty symmetrical, doesn't it? Bump it out just a bit.
Yeah, I like it out a bit more because I like the peak of the fan shroud kind of coming through instead of it being on top of the fan shroud. Because before, when you had it a little closer together, it kind of looked cross-eyed. But now it's much more.
That's the right move. Thanks, whoever said that on Insta something book.
What?
Somebody said a split window. It
Oh,
wasn't my
yeah,
idea.
somebody did comment on that. Yep. Insta, Insta book, YouTube.
The
Thank you.
Instatube.
Yeah, they did. They were like, it had conviction behind it too.
It did.
So thank you.
If you know me, I'm a man of conviction. What do you think? Does that look good? The whole thing, you get one set and then you mimic it with the other one, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You think a little lower? I'm really concerned with that. I don't want to get too close to the fan because that might not be 100% where it belongs either.
No, I think it's perfect.
Oh, well, then we're done. See, that's it. Fast and loose. Make a decision, stick it. So now, to get this even with the surface, I'm going to trace this. And I'm going to take into account this inside lip. We're going to get real close, but I think we're going to make it. We're going to come in like that. I could always build a new bottom to this. I'm going to need to probably make it out of steel in the long run. All right, let's cut this out. Plug in this window. All right. Definitely have to come off the heat here. Yeah. I'm with that. How you feeling?
I like it.
Definitely a little bit that. All right. Cut this one down the size.
Very technical.
Yeah. Now I'm going to ask you, because eyeballs where it's at. Tell me up or down.
I think down just a smidge.
Look at that.
I think that's good.
Okay. Just a rough idea. That's all
Maybe
we
down
need.
just like another like smidgen.
Too late.
Oops.
So I'm going to cut this out. This is going to be fiberglass thin, so we're just cutting the hole. We'll have the opportunity to move it a little bit. So
Okay.
I'm going to cut this out again with the dust.
I will go outside.
Cap that. There it is. There. I gotta open this up.
Yeah, I like the split windows.
That's kind of, look at that. Looks pretty good, huh?
Mm-hmm.
On the window line. It might be drooping just a little bit right there. And with the marker, we are from the center. This one's a little bit off. There it is. Center to the cap. Cap to the center. Yeah. Put this across the top of the air cleaners again. I was using the height of the air cleaners as a base. Let me take off some of this fuzz here. Using the height of the air cleaners as a base to gauge the entirety of the subject. Now we can kind of see the window lines. If they're even, see that driver's side, they're both a little bit off. It's got to rotate that way, just a hair. It's got to come up just a hair. Would you agree?
I agree. I like it.
I like it too. That's exactly what it needed.
Mm-hmm.
More Volkswagen. And I like how from the air filter,
Yes.
air filter, I didn't even make that up. That just happened.
Yeah, no, that was my point because it felt like when you had them a little closer, it looked like it was cross-eyed, but then when you spread it out and now the fan shroud, yeah, I like.
Take that plastic off for a better visual. Still in the right place. These are. I feel happy with that.
I like it.
So what I'm going to do now is do a little jigging up, measuring, and I'm going to glass this whole thing in. I'm going to use some steel to support this. I'm going to clean this up before I do glass it in, but a little bench work, put it back together, and so I'm going to load it with fiberglass.
Cool. Wow, you did some fast work on that little segment prior
Well,
to this.
let's discuss. That was yesterday. This is today. Look, I'm dressed completely different. It's chilly out, and we're about 1.5 gallons of filler into this. So it's starting to flesh out. This is one of those mixing pads that they sent us, and it's pretty cool because if you've done body work, you know keeping your tools, etc. clean is sort of a challenge. There's a, what?
I'm just touching it.
Oh, it's paper. It's like a book. One thing I learned about this type of thing, I watched my friend Scratch, who's a pinstriper. He always carried a phone book around. Like, what's with the phone book, man? It's like, I don't get it. Once he started pinstriping, he started doing this. He was mixing his paint, preparing everything. Then he would literally turn the page and have a clean, whoa.
Oh, wow.
He would turn the page and have a clean surface to start working with. I've been mixing so much on this, it's starting to glue together, but see, you got a fresh sheet every time. This is what I've been up to. I got the metal of the windows glued in with this. A lot of the structure is going to be put in from the backside. What I'm attempting here is to just get some strength in it so I could take this back off, flip it over, and get in there and start doing that work. So on top of the fiberglass mat that I had trapped in there, I just blobbed kitty hair to represent the surface, or the start of the surface, and it's starting to come together. Getting this little ring detail further glued into place. So this is going to be all sculpted out. It's not even going to look like PVC tube in the end. That was just the skeleton. Kind of like what I have under this big, fleshy presentation. Somebody said this looks like a skull on Instagram. I was like, all right, I can kind of see that. I'll take this plastic off.
Somebody said a skull. Somebody said Darth Vader.
Well, a lot of people said a gas mask with the two breathing things. So yeah, that's where we're starting to go with this. Next, I'm going to have to create some structure across and under here. So I'll probably frame that out with steel just because I can weld to this and then try to get a grab in here. And I don't know, we'll see what happens. But that's what's up. As I talked about earlier, there was a big low spot in here, so set up a big mound of that kitty hair, and then I pulled it across with a long, actually used a yardstick, pulled it through. Still a little low in here, but it's getting better. And again, this stuff is really strong. Starting to fill out a little bit of the contour. You know, it's going to just kind of ramp up to that in the center. And that's where we're at. We got our 40 Chevy side windows turned into rear windows. We're progressing.